Prince William and Kate Middleton have reportedly been left heartbroken after their son, Prince Louis, went through an unexpected change. The details are still a mystery, but whatever happened has clearly shaken the royal family. Let's dive into this intriguing transformation and uncover the truth behind it. Louis has always been the playful one, the little mischief maker who preferred running around and pulling pranks instead of following the lead of his more serious siblings. But recently, something has shifted and his parents can't help but feel emotional about it. Born on April 23, 2018, at St. Mary's Hospital in London, Louis was welcomed with excitement, just like his older siblings. His parents proudly introduced him to the world, expecting him to fit right into the royal mold. But from the start, Louis had a spark of rebellion. While Prince George and Princess Charlotte embraced their royal roles with poise, Louis was all about energy, personality, and fun. Getting a picture-perfect moment with him was always a challenge. While his siblings posed gracefully, Louis was the one making funny faces, wriggling around, or simply refusing to stay still. Formal events? To him, they were just another playground. The public adored his free-spirited antics, but behind palace doors, his parents were constantly trying to strike a balance between letting him be himself and preparing him for royal life. His mischievous streak became legendary, especially during the Platinum Jubilee, where he stole the show with his cheeky behavior. While the rest of the family maintained their usual composed presence, Louis was busy entertaining everyone, making the internet fall in love with his antics. His parents cherished his liveliness but also wondered how he would handle the pressures of being a royal. Then, out of nowhere, a change began. Louis started sitting still for photos, showing patience instead of playful outbursts. The once unstoppable little whirlwind was suddenly much calmer during public events. William and Kate were stunned to see their unpredictable, high-energy son gradually adapting to royal decorum. And it wasn't just in public. This shift was happening at home too. While he was still curious and fun-loving, his energy had noticeably mellowed. The lively chaos that once filled their household was fading. Kate found herself looking back fondly on the days when Louis would dash through the gardens, realizing she had taken those moments for granted. William reassured her that it was all part of growing up, but he too felt the weight of the change. Their little boy wasn't so little anymore. What caused this transformation? To understand, let's take a step back and look at the way Louis had always brought life to the royal family. His candid, unfiltered personality made the royals feel more relatable, showing them as a close-knit family that laughed and stumbled through parenting like anyone else. One unforgettable moment was when Louis grabbed the microphone, a scene reminiscent of his Platinum Jubilee antics. Back then, he had stolen the show with his dramatic reactions to the loud jets flying overhead, covering his ears, seeking comfort in his grandfather's lap, and expressing everything from awe to frustration. His actions never overshadowed the event. Instead, they made it more human, more joyful. Moments like these highlight the royal family's careful balancing act between tradition and authenticity. William and Kate have mastered the art of upholding royal customs while allowing their children to be themselves. But with Louis now stepping into a more composed version of himself, one thing is clear. Whether he's the mischievous prince or the well-mannered royal in the making, he'll always bring something special to the monarchy. The way Louis is guided during public events without being scolded or having his enthusiasm curbed says a lot about his parents' approach to parenting. They found a way to encourage personal expression while also ensuring he understands his royal responsibilities. It's a tricky balance, but it allows the family to maintain their dignity while still coming across as modern and relatable. Queen Camilla's reaction to Louis's spontaneous antics is proof that the monarchy knows how to adapt. Her response, blending humor, patience, and grace, showed how the royal family can embrace unpredictability without losing its composure. Instead of shutting down his playful moments, she leaned into them, turning what could have been awkward into something charming. It's this kind of openness that's shaping her role as queen consort and, in turn, redefining the monarchy's image. But these moments go beyond entertainment. They're reminders that behind the rules and traditions, the royal family is made up of real people. When Louis acts like any other child, curious, happy, and full of life, it resonates with everyone, regardless of status. His natural interactions with the public play a huge role in keeping the monarchy relevant and beloved, especially at a time when the world is changing so quickly. At the same time, these lighthearted moments balance out the serious nature of royal duties. Tradition is important, but that doesn't mean there's no room for laughter and real emotions. Louis's cheerful personality never takes away from the significance of events. Instead, it enhances them, reminding people that even in grand celebrations, it's often the small, joyful moments that bring people together. His presence captures the essence of a true celebration, making these historic occasions feel a little more personal. As the royal family continues to evolve in the 21st century, these kinds of moments will likely play an even bigger role in shaping public perception. Right now, they're offering a fresh take on the monarchy, making it feel more approachable and warm. And in this shift, Louis has become a key figure, proving that even an institution as old as the British monarchy can embrace a little happiness. Prince Louis is quickly winning hearts within the royal family and beyond. With his infectious smile, down-to-earth attitude, and natural connection with the public, he's becoming a beloved figure. As the son of Prince William and Princess Catherine, he's been making more frequent appearances at royal events. Currently fourth in line to the throne following his father and older siblings, Louis is slowly starting to grasp the significance of his role. At a past Trooping the Color event, he impressed everyone with his polished appearance, dressed in a jacket and tie, mirroring the older royals and showing a level of maturity beyond his years. But it was during his grandfather, King Charles III's coronation, that Louis truly stood out. His composed presence sparked conversations about whether he might take on greater responsibilities at future royal engagements, possibly following in Prince George's footsteps. That said, it's important to remember that, at the end of the day, Louis is still just a 5-year-old. While he's learning the ropes of royal life, he's not leaving behind his playful nature. He's gained a reputation for his cheeky interactions with the crowd, whether it's making funny faces or coming up with new and creative ways to greet people. But, like any child his age, sitting through long formal events can be a challenge. And honestly, even King Charles had his moments as a restless youngster. Old footage from Queen Elizabeth II's coronation shows a young Charles looking less than thrilled, much like his sister Princess Anne. Louis may be growing up, but his charm, energy, and ability to make people smile aren't going anywhere. And as he continues to navigate his royal journey, one thing is clear: his free-spirited nature is a breath of fresh air in an ever-evolving monarchy. Many people have noticed that Prince Louis shares more than just a physical resemblance with his grandfather, King Charles III. Their connection runs deep, even down to their shared name, Louis Arthur Charles. The two often take every opportunity to chat, share a hug, or simply enjoy each other's company. A perfect example of their bond was seen during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, when Louis, feeling a bit overwhelmed, instinctively turned to his beloved grandfather for comfort. The duo also had a fantastic time together at the celebratory concert, but that wasn't the only highlight of the event. Young Louis stole the show with his hilarious antics, making the crowd laugh with his carefree energy. Of course, some questioned whether his behavior was appropriate for such a formal occasion, especially since he seemed to be getting a little too wild under Catherine's watch. But as an authoritative yet patient mother, Catherine handled the situation with her usual grace. She made sure Louis was well cared for, offering him extra pillows to keep him comfortable and reading to him when the concert failed to hold his attention. And whenever he needs extra support, Louis can always count on his older siblings. Ever wondered why he's always so cheerful and carefree? It's because, even as the youngest of the Wales children, he's surrounded by family members who nurture his playful spirit while keeping him grounded. Louis also cherishes the time he spends with his maternal grandparents, Carol and Michael Middleton. Their home in Berkshire offers him a refreshing break from royal life where he can simply be a kid. The relaxed environment allows him to embrace the simple joys of childhood, whether it's baking, arts and crafts with Carol, or unwinding with Michael's calming presence. Taking peaceful walks in nature or sharing quiet moments with his grandfather brings a sense of balance to his energetic personality. Similarly, King Charles makes sure to dedicate time to his grandchildren, particularly the lively and enthusiastic Louis. Despite his busy schedule, the king shares his deep love for nature with his grandson. Their conversations often revolve around gardening, planting trees, and the importance of protecting the environment. These moments, blending fun with meaningful lessons, leave a lasting impact on Louis and further strengthen their bond. Within the Wales household, Princess Charlotte has naturally stepped into the role of guiding Louis. Even at just 8 years old, she balances her playful innocence with a surprising sense of responsibility. In public, she has a way of gently managing Louis's high-spirited nature, proving to be both a supportive and composed sister. One heartwarming example of this was during Kate Middleton's Christmas Carol service. Throughout the evening, Charlotte quietly encouraged Louis, boosting his confidence in the spotlight. When he playfully tried to blow out her candle, she handled it with patience and cleverness, showing the natural poise of a caring big sister. Their close bond traces all the way back to Louis's infancy. A touching photo from Charlotte's 3rd birthday shows her cradling baby Louis with tenderness, a gesture that hinted at the unwavering love she has shown him ever since. Over the years, their sibling relationship has blossomed into a beautiful friendship filled with joy, laughter, and countless shared memories. Charlotte's natural leadership is perfectly complemented by Louis's boundless enthusiasm, making them a dynamic duo that grows stronger with each passing day. Meanwhile, Prince George has a more relaxed and playful relationship with his younger brother. At just 10 years old, he's embraced his role as the eldest with a mix of affectionate teasing and brotherly camaraderie. The typical sibling dynamic of minor annoyances has evolved into a fun-filled friendship, full of shared experiences, from sneaking late-night snacks to pulling harmless pranks. One of the best examples of their bond was during Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee. Louis, as expected, was full of energy, entertaining the crowd with his lively behavior. But George was right there, keeping a watchful eye, ready to step in and make sure things didn't get too out of hand. Through all these moments, Louis is proving to be a unique and cherished part of the royal family. Whether he's making people laugh with his cheeky personality or learning the values of tradition and responsibility, one thing is certain: he's growing up surrounded by love, guidance, and plenty of fun. Prince George's growing responsibilities haven't stopped him from enjoying the lively energy his younger brother brings to the family. Louis's boundless enthusiasm isn't limited to just family gatherings. It's now extending into his love for drumming. The lively beats of his drum kit have become a regular feature in their home, much to the amusement of Prince William. You can almost picture Louis happily pounding away while Charlotte watches with a mix of admiration and mild annoyance. And George tries to maintain his composure, though deep down, he's tempted to join in. Together, the 3 siblings form a tight-knit team, always encouraging, teasing, and pushing each other forward. So, what exactly changed in Prince Louis? The shift in his behavior was something his parents had been preparing for. It was an inevitable part of growing up. But when it finally happened, it didn't bring the relief they expected. Instead, it felt like a loss. They had hoped to gradually introduce him to his future responsibilities, but the transformation seemed to happen all at once. What triggered this change? Had Louis simply matured, leaving behind his carefree ways? Or had the pressures of royal life finally caught up with him? Had he become aware of how people saw him and decided to change on his own? Or was this a natural evolution? The public couldn't help but notice. The once lively child, famous for his playful antics, now seemed more reserved. Was this just a phase, or was it a sign of something deeper? Rumors began circulating. Had he been instructed to tone down his behavior? Had he been warned that his playful ways were no longer acceptable? Was this the inevitable trade-off of growing up in the royal family, sacrificing individuality for duty? Kate, known for her hands-on and nurturing approach to parenting, struggled with this transformation. She had always advocated for a balance between royal responsibilities and a childhood filled with fun and freedom. Now she was watching one of her children seemingly conform to the very mold she had tried to avoid. William, too, felt conflicted. He understood the importance of teaching discipline, but at what cost? Was Louis truly maturing, or was he losing the unique spark that made him special? All children go through changes, but for a royal child, every transformation carries extra weight. Louis was always destined to have an extraordinary journey, but the speed of this shift took everyone by surprise. His parents had always worked to balance tradition with modernity, but now they faced their biggest challenge yet: helping their son grow into his role while ensuring he remained true to himself. The once energetic boy who had lit up royal gatherings was now entering a new phase, one that felt oddly quiet. The year that changed everything. Life inside a royal palace might seem flawless from the outside, but the reality is far more complex. Take the Cambridge family in 2020, suddenly cut off from their usual grand engagements, isolated at Anmer Hall and navigating a world turned upside down. The formal events were canceled, and the royal schedules were put on pause, leaving Prince William, Kate, and their children to adjust to the unexpected stillness of lockdown life. Yet in the midst of global uncertainty, a bright spark of joy remained: Louis. The youngest member of the family brought his signature chaos and energy into their everyday lives. While his older siblings adjusted to the new normal with a sense of restraint, Louis embraced every moment like an adventure, blissfully unaware of the gravity of the situation. The transition from royal duties to full-time parenting was no small challenge for William and Kate. Their days, once filled with carefully planned engagements, were now occupied with sticky hands, scattered toys, and non-stop outdoor adventures led by their youngest explorer. While the world around them faced a crisis, inside Anmer Hall, Louis was busy turning every day into an escapade. Even during serious moments, his energy couldn't be contained. During the Clap for Carers campaign, when the family gathered to show appreciation for healthcare workers, Louis managed to steal the spotlight with his infectious excitement. Video calls with the public became less about formal discussions and more like spontaneous playgrounds of laughter, thanks to his playful interruptions. Despite the chaos he brought, the family embraced their time together. They spent long days outdoors, chasing bugs, collecting leaves, and finding joy in the simple things. George naturally took on the responsible older brother role, while Charlotte delighted in the little adventures. But it was Louis who truly embodied the spirit of unfiltered childhood, constantly pushing boundaries and reminding everyone what it meant to live in the moment. As Louis celebrated his second birthday during the pandemic, the family marked the occasion with a simple yet heartfelt celebration. Kate, known for her photography skills, captured candid and delightfully messy moments that resonated deeply with the public. Even with minimal public appearances, Louis's vibrant personality shone through, proving that his natural talent for stealing the spotlight was undeniable. His charm left a lasting impression on royal watchers, with some even likening him to his late grandmother, Princess Diana, who had a similarly free-spirited nature during her childhood. As 2020 came to a close, the world was slowly adjusting to a new normal, and so was the Cambridge family. The return to royal duties was inevitable, but for William and Kate, the unexpected quality time with their children had been a rare and cherished gift. Away from the judgment and pressures of public life, they had enjoyed a period of simply being a family, relishing in the everyday chaos and joy of raising young children. By the summer of 2022, the world was preparing for a truly historic event, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, a grand celebration marking her remarkable 70-year reign. As expected, the royal family took center stage, standing on the iconic Buckingham Palace balcony, waving to the massive crowds below. George and Charlotte, displaying impeccable manners and refined composure, embodied the elegance expected of young royals. But, as always, it was Louis who effortlessly stole the show. While other family members maintained their poised and polished demeanor, Louis delivered an impromptu performance that no one saw coming. His exaggerated reactions to the Royal Air Force flyover, his animated facial expressions, and his sheer unfiltered joy turned the event into an internet sensation. Even in the most meticulously organized royal setting, the youngest Cambridge prince proved once again that some things, like the boundless energy of a child, simply can't be contained. Positioned between his parents, Louis stood wide-eyed as the jets thundered across the sky, his tiny hands instantly flying to his ears. His face cycled through a range of emotions: surprise, discomfort, awe, all captured in real time by cameras and instantly adored by the public. In a sea of carefully composed royal figures, this one raw and unfiltered moment stood out. Kate and William exchanged knowing glances, fully aware that their youngest child had once again become the unexpected star of the show. But let's not pretend this was just about a cute child making funny faces. The Platinum Jubilee was a meticulously planned event, where every detail was rehearsed down to the second. Yet no amount of preparation could contain a 4-year-old with a mind of his own. His expressive reactions, impatience, and complete disinterest in long speeches provided a rare touch of authenticity in a setting dominated by tradition and formality. While some might have expected rigid royal protocols to suppress such behavior, Louis's exuberance broke through, much to the delight of those watching. At one point, he even stuck out his tongue, a mischievous move that left his older siblings amused, especially since they knew they wouldn't have been able to get away with it. Then, as if deciding that royal etiquette simply didn't apply to him, he engaged in a lively conversation with none other than his great-grandmother, the Queen. Cameras eagerly captured every moment, shifting the focus from the grandeur of the monarchy to a simple truth that is often overlooked. At the end of the day, even royal children are still just children. The sight of a young prince challenging conventions, even in small ways, unexpectedly propelled him to star status during the event. While the public found endless entertainment in his playful antics, behind the scenes, his parents were balancing the challenges of parenting with the demands of their royal roles. For Kate, this meant carefully guiding her children to embrace their positions, while still allowing them to be themselves. She had spent hours preparing them for the Jubilee, explaining the significance of their great-grandmother's historic reign. But as any parent knows, there's only so much information a young child can absorb before they lose interest. And Louis? He had little patience for remaining in one place for too long, no matter how significant the occasion. No amount of rehearsed speeches or gentle reminders could change that fundamental truth. The carefree fun Louis once enjoyed was beginning to evolve into something deeper. As he grew older, he became increasingly aware of the attention surrounding him. The days of being the mischievous, unfiltered child in the background were shifting. Prince Louis was stepping into the spotlight in a new way. William and Kate admitted that handling their young children during major royal events was no easy task. They had prepared them for royal duties, but keeping an energetic 4-year-old engaged during formal occasions was an entirely different challenge. Watching their youngest son navigate a world so different from a typical childhood, they often wondered how much of it he truly understood. Seeing him slowly grow into his role was bittersweet. His carefree childhood would never be the same. The Jubilee weekend passed in a whirlwind of grand appearances and public admiration, but all eyes were on one person, Prince Louis. Social media exploded with posts about his lively antics, with many calling him a breath of fresh air. Some playfully described him as a tiny rebel, while countless memes transformed him into an internet sensation. The royal family, often seen as distant and overly formal, suddenly felt more relatable, all thanks to a little boy who simply wanted to have fun. For once, people weren't fixated on elegant speeches or regal outfits. Instead, they were talking about a child who brought genuine, unscripted joy to the occasion. For William and Kate, this public response was a powerful reminder that authenticity mattered. These moments of unfiltered childhood innocence resonated more than any carefully crafted royal image. Their children were not just future royals, they were real kids growing up under immense public scrutiny. The Jubilee had been Louis's first major introduction to the world he would eventually inherit, whether he was ready for it or not. As summer came to a close, life returned to normal for the Cambridge family. But something had shifted. Louis, once viewed as the baby of the family, had unexpectedly stepped into the spotlight. It was clear that his personality was far too vibrant to be overshadowed, and he was eager to leave his own mark. The family's Christmas walk further highlighted this transformation. Instead of just tagging along quietly, he confidently interacted with the crowd, displaying a growing awareness of his public presence. This wasn't the same restless child from the Jubilee. Louis was beginning to understand his role. Kate watched this evolution with a mixture of pride and nostalgia. Both George and Charlotte had gone through this inevitable transition from childhood innocence to public awareness. But Louis's shift felt different. Maybe it was because he was her last baby, or perhaps it was because his spirited nature clashed with the rigid royal expectations. Either way, he was proving to be adaptable, whether she was ready for it or not. At home, his transformation was even more evident. His boundless energy and curiosity remained, but he had found new ways to channel them. He spent hours outdoors, exploring the vast landscapes near their home, climbing trees, chasing bugs, and discovering the wonders of nature. Unlike his more reserved siblings, Lewis embraced every adventure with fearlessness, leaving his parents both exhausted and endlessly entertained. One rainy afternoon, Kate stumbled upon a scene that perfectly encapsulated who Louis truly was. He had turned the dining table into his personal art studio, his tiny hands covered in paint, leaving colorful streaks across the surface. With a proud grin, he excitedly declared his masterpiece the best painting in the world. In that moment, Kate realized something important. Despite the weight of his royal future, Louis possessed an untamed joy that would always set him apart. His growth wasn't about conforming to expectations, but about carving out his own space in a world that demanded perfection. His natural, unguarded self had already endeared him to many, proving that no title or protocol could suppress his unique spirit. The road ahead remains uncertain, filled with challenges that come with being part of one of the world's most scrutinized families. But one thing is undeniable. No matter how much royal tradition tries to shape him, Prince Louis will always remain true to himself. He is determined to be his true self, refusing to conform to expectations. But more than that, he has proven time and time again that he prefers honesty over formality. That trait was on full display during a royal Christmas event that took an unexpected turn. On a chilly December evening, Westminster Abbey glowed with festive decorations as it hosted a special carol service. Among the twinkling lights and warm holiday spirit, an unforeseen moment sent a ripple through the British royal family and their guests. Prince Louis, known for his boundless energy and cheerful personality, found himself at the center of it all. Standing proudly beside a beautifully adorned kindness tree, Louis beamed as he displayed his handmade card. Kate had organized this event to promote gratitude and kindness, with handwritten notes decorating the tree. Louis, in his usual heartfelt manner, wrote a touching message thanking his grandparents, Carol and Michael Middleton, for all the time they spent playing games with him. His words reflected their reputation as warm, playful, and hands-on grandparents in Berkshire. However, the atmosphere shifted when a guest casually inquired why Queen Camilla wasn't mentioned on his card. Without hesitation, Louis answered with childlike honesty. He said she hadn't been kind to him. In a moment that left the room stunned, he openly shared that Camilla had once called him irritating and told him to go away. His innocent yet blunt observation cut through the polished setting, highlighting something most wouldn't dare say out loud. Kate, who had been engaged in conversation nearby, quickly made her way to her son. Though her signature warm smile remained, those watching closely noticed a subtle shift in her expression as she softly whispered to Louis. Prince William, standing a few steps away, seemed momentarily taken aback, his eyes briefly meeting Camilla's. The queen consort, known for her composure, remained outwardly calm, but the air in the room had undeniably changed. The incident subtly underscored the complexities of family relationships within the royal household. King Charles has long been seen enjoying time with his grandchildren, particularly at Highgrove House, where he shares stories and partakes in garden activities with them. Camilla, however, has maintained a more reserved presence, keeping a certain distance from the Wales children. Louis's unfiltered words, though spoken with innocence, revealed a deeper reality. Blending families is never seamless, even among royals. The Wales children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, have always been particularly close to the Middleton side of their family, where they experience a more relaxed and playful environment. They spend time outdoors, play games, and enjoy family gatherings without the formality of royal engagements. This contrast has been noted before, but Louis's words at the carol service put a spotlight on it in an unexpected way. Despite the sudden shift in mood, the royal family maintained their composure. The carefully orchestrated event, like all royal functions, had been planned down to the finest detail, but there was no script for unfiltered honesty. While a few staff members exchanged whispers, most of the guests carried on, choosing to overlook the surprising moment. In the days that followed, rumors swirled about private family discussions addressing the situation. The palace, as expected, focused on presenting an image of harmony, but Louis's remarks served as a reminder of the delicate balance they must maintain. The royal family constantly navigates the fine line between tradition and modern family dynamics, between their public personas and the reality of their personal relationships. The carol service, though meant to be a festive and uplifting event, inadvertently offered a rare glimpse into the genuine interactions within the royal household. Louis's candid words, while causing momentary discomfort among the adults, also reinforced a simple truth. Family, no matter how prestigious, is still family. Relationships are layered, emotions are real, and even in the most regal settings, honesty has a way of shining through.